on WLWT, decimated communities and dozens of lives lost.
The worst, most devastating, most deadly tornado event in Kentucky's history.
A look at the aftermath of horrific tornadoes across the Midwest.
Anybody here? Anybody need help?
And the relief efforts underway right now.
It's the calm after the storm. Some gorgeous sunshine on the way to the tri-state, but there's already a system we're watching closely for late next week. Your forecast just ahead.
And the Omicron variant is here. What we know about the first cases detected here in Ohio.
This is WLWT News 5, leading the way with breaking news.
Towns and cities turned into piles of rubble after a tornado outbreak ravages the Midwest in the middle of the night. Good evening, I'm Mollie Lair.
And I'm Courtis Fuller. Heartbreak. That's the only way to describe what we've witnessed the past 24 hours. Drone footage capturing the devastation left behind. Right now, we know 6 states were hit by tornadoes last night. Illinois, Missouri, Arkansas, Mississippi, Tennessee, and of course, Kentucky. The Bluegrass feeling the brunt of the storms, with officials saying they believe at least 70 people have died, and unfortunately, that number is expected to rise.
The reason Kentucky was hit so hard is because of one storm that produced at least one tornado along this path. We're still waiting on confirmation from the National Weather Service on if this was one singular tornado, but either way, 227 miles were ripped apart, 200 of those in Kentucky.
We have live team coverage tonight. WLWT News 5 meteorologist Steve Norris explains how this strange December weather is not changing anytime soon.
First, let's get to WLWT News 5's Karin Johnson. She's on the ground in Mayfield, Kentucky, where dozens of people have died.
The destruction out here is just unbelievable and so widespread. This right here is just one family's house. You can see the debris 10 feet high, the house behind it destroyed. And just to think, this is just one of hundreds of families who lost everything.
9:27 on the dot, it hit.
And it took just minutes.
The longest 3 minutes of my life.
And the scariest.
Imagine all your furniture, all your belongings, everything in the house just all of a sudden just flying around you everywhere.
Walls and roofs blown off houses, other homes leveled, including this one where neighbors say a 3-year-old was killed. Angela Wheeler's house shifted so much her bedroom now looks like a front porch.
As you can tell, it's off its foundation, and I was just afraid that we were going to fall into the basement and be stuck.
Wheeler and her husband, who was on dialysis, were trapped inside, but eventually escaped out a side window. Today, volunteers went door to door.
We're checking houses, making sure there's nobody left here. That's what I just did right down there.
Trying to do what they can to be a good neighbor. The twister also ripped through downtown Mayfield, leaving streets filled with rubble, crumbling businesses, blowing out windows of the police department, collapsing portions of the county courthouse, and heavily damaging a Baptist church.
Graves we're a very resilient group of people. There's a lot of people of faith. There are many churches in this county.
Church members worked to salvage what they could Saturday afternoon, while sending prayers to family members in their congregation whose house was leveled.
They found the wife and the 4 young boys in the field behind the house, and thank God they're all alive, but there's some significant injuries. And the husband, they dug him out of the rubble.
Despite the destruction around it, the Mayfield More Than a Memory mural still stands. Tonight, too many here only have memories to hold on to.
I don't know how many we've lost in the community, but everything I keep hearing, the number keeps rising. So I think that we've definitely, a lot of prayers, a lot of families are not as fortunate as you and I right now being here.
And in addition to having to deal with all of this devastation, I think the hardest part for so many people out here, especially for ones with friends and loved ones who worked at the candle factory that collapsed, is really the not knowing. I spoke with one woman whose friend's fiance worked there. He was working last night, and as of this afternoon, they still had not heard from him. Reporting in Mayfield, Kentucky, Karin Johnson, WLWT News 5.
You heard Karin mention that candle factory. The roof collapsed. This video shows the destruction. Officials say more than 100 people were inside at the time. Governor Andy Beshear saying he believes dozens of workers may have lost their lives. Crews continue working to find people who might be trapped under the debris. Another area that felt the sting of Mother Nature's power, Bowling Green, Kentucky. At least 12 people have died in Warren County, and children are among that number. I want you to listen to one man who witnessed the tornado, describing just an unbelievable scene.
I looked out the door, all I saw was a big pile of wind, like big wind gusts coming through wrapped in rain. Blew the door open, and while the door was being blown open, I was trying to take cover. The plexiglass hit me from behind. I fell, and the door that I was in slammed shut.
Officials say at least 500 homes and 100 businesses were also destroyed in Warren County.
President Joe Biden has approved a federal emergency declaration for Kentucky.
Guys, what I told all the governors, the federal government will do everything it can possibly do to help.
President Biden said he does plan to visit Kentucky, but he's working with the governor to ensure his visit helps and doesn't hinder recovery efforts.
Well, Governor Beshear says this tragedy hits home, very close to home for him. You see, he got emotional today talking about the destruction in his hometown of Dawson Springs. Just listen.
It's really hard and really painful. I spent 8 hours wondering if one of my cousins was still alive. After hearing the number of people initially lost in Dawson Springs, I got to see her about an hour and a half ago, and I'd like to say I was relieved, but then I look at blocks and blocks and blocks, about a third of the town just decimated.
The state of Kentucky offering ways to help tornado victims tonight. The governor says you can donate blood or donate to the Team Western Kentucky Tornado Relief Fund. This is a single fund connected with the state that will help support the ground efforts right now and the relief efforts needed to rebuild.
And local organizations are doing their part as well. Nonprofits and churches were some of the first on the scene and plan to be there as long as it takes to help get people back on their feet. The American Red Cross is always ready to respond to tragedy. Teams from Western Kentucky have been on the ground since tornadoes left a path of destruction.
Sheltering, providing a safe, warm place to stay, feeding, any kind of health or mental health issues that they may have.
And more help is coming from the Cincinnati area.
We are probably going to be sending down our emergency response vehicles tomorrow. And we also have disaster volunteers from throughout the region who are packed. They're ready to go. They just need to get the call.
Marita Salkowski says more volunteers are always needed, but you must go through training first. So if you want to help immediately, the best way is to donate money.
That cash donation, we can mobilize that much more quickly and get that help more directly to those folks who need it.
As the Red Cross makes plans to care for these victims for weeks, others are ready to step in to help with immediate cleanup.
We'll be bringing tarps, volunteers, and really looking for those situations that may be outside the box that people don't think about. So, our chainsaws and our tarps will probably be the biggest thing we do.
Darren Kroger with Crossroads has responded to many disasters. Seeing photos and videos from Western Kentucky brings him to tears.
My heart breaks for all those people down there. I can't imagine being in their shoes, especially 2 weeks before Christmas.
They provide not only physical help with clearing debris, but emotional and mental support to help cope with the deep loss. And they're ready to go when they get the call.
My goal is probably spinning up a team and heading that way on Monday and being able to spend some time down there before Christmas and then potentially going back.
And something Governor Beshear said today, you were not alone. He said that
right.
to all of those communities, and I think this just shows that they are not.
absolutely.
Everyone is really stepping up to help, and hopefully that continues in the weeks and months to come.
Oh,
They're
it will.
Need it.
You know it will. This is a great giving community. Turning our attention to weather, we may see a repeat of this coming up soon?
Well, we hope it's not that bad, but there is a storm that is headed our way for later in the week, Thursday, and it has some similarities to last night. So that's just something we're going to keep our eye on as we head through the next several days. But right now, things are beginning to calm down, right? Very gusty, very blustery out there today. We had those temperatures falling through the 40s and into the 30s. In fact, right now, well, we were in the 60s at this time last night, right? Now we're in the low to mid 30s, in fact, 32, right at the freezing mark at the International Airport. We are dry. The clouds have moved out. That mess, that system that brought all the heartache, the devastation, now beginning to push off the East Coast, and we're done with that. But high pressure will build in, and that's going to bring us lots of sunshine the next few days. Cooler tomorrow. We'll be in the upper 40s, but then this wacky month of December, we're heading for the 60s again, and maybe a storm by Thursday. We'll talk about that in a few minutes.
All right, thanks a lot, Steve. Also breaking tonight, the Omicron variant of the coronavirus has been detected in Ohio.
The Ohio Department of Health confirmed the first 2 cases of Omicron in the state today. ODH says 2 Central Ohio men tested positive Tuesday, and officials say both men were fully vaccinated but had not gotten a booster shot. They have mild symptoms, and officials say neither had a history of international travel.
Well, coming up, we were talking about giving and helping this tornado relief. A local church writing a $50,000 check to help last night's tornado victims.
Why they're stepping up in a big way to help their fellow Kentuckians. You're watching Cincinnati's WLWT News 5.
Welcome back, everyone. More now of our team coverage of December's deadly tornado outbreak.
The number of people killed when a tornado ripped through an Amazon distribution center has risen to 6. This happened in Edwardsville, Illinois. Officials say another person was injured and 45 people were rescued safely. The National Weather Service has confirmed that tornado was an EF3. The governor of Illinois toured the damage today, bringing a powerful message with him.
Please know that the people of Illinois stand with you. We are one Illinois. In this moment, and in the days, months, and years to come, you are not alone. We will stand with you to help you through your grief and then to honor your loved ones.
The fire chief says they are continuing to search that site for evidence of life.
And take a look at this. 1 person dead after a tornado caused a nursing home to collapse in Monette, Arkansas. At least 20 people were injured. This is what's left of that nursing home. An emergency declaration has now been issued for 4 Arkansas counties.
Churches, police departments, and relief organizations all lending a helping hand during this devastating time.
WLWT News 5's Helena Battipaglia shows us how the community here at home is springing into action, supporting folks that have lost everything.
You know, it's so easy to think that tragedy, that you're exempt from it until it knocks on your door.
In this moment of devastation, hope must rise from the ashes.
You know, it's one thing to be sympathetic and acknowledge when somebody's going through a difficult time. It's another thing to be empathetic and to feel what they feel, to put yourself in the tragedy with them.
Seven Hills Church in Florence answered the call for help.
We immediately, the church wrote a $50,000 check to one of our partners that we work with on a regular basis. And so, you know, what we're able to do with Convoy of Hope, our partner, is when devastation, when tragedy, whether it be a hurricane, a tornado, when it hits, you know, we keep their warehouse stocked up with supplies so that they can immediately be boots on the ground.
More boots on the ground, crucial at this time when the supplies people need are scarce. Newport Police also lending a hand by collecting donations to be delivered to Mayfield. Water bottles, paper towels, diapers, just a few of the items dropped to the Newport City building so far. You can bring the supplies to the rear parking lot area. Doors will be unlocked to drop them on the first floor. And Matthew 25 Ministries in Cincinnati is requesting much needed donations as well. Bottled water, personal care products, cleaning, infant and first aid supplies, as well as checks and online monetary donations. Helena Battipaglia, WLWT News 5.
Pretty impressive when you think how many people are already getting involved. We're 24 hours into this, and the churches and organizations, you mentioned several, earlier in the show. Just very impressive.
A lot of work and a lot of help needed, and will be for weeks and months, right?
Right.
I mean, they have to rebuild.
Many of them still without power, without water. I mean, these tornadoes were strong coming
Absolutely. Violent tornadoes. Yeah, I put together some information. I did some studying on some of those radar signature returns, the debris signatures that we can see on our dual polar Doppler radar. And it was so impressive. Some of that debris was lofted 20 to 40,000 feet in the air, and that carried some debris, the lighter debris, for several hundred miles. So that was very, very impressive. That just speaks to the intensity of those tornadoes. Live WLWT radar right now. We are clear. The clouds have moved out, and the temperatures have dropped into the lower 30s. There's the cold front. That is the last remnant of what brought those powerful and heartbreaking tornadoes last night and even early this morning in the overnight hours. In its wake is this area of high pressure. It's over the Dallas area right now. But this is going to be bringing us lots of sunshine tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, perhaps even into Wednesday as well. So bright sunshine on the way the next several days. There is another powerful cold front that will be taking aim on the Midwest as we get into Thursday. And there are at least some similarities to last night's setup. So we'll just kind of see how that progresses, and we'll keep our eye on that as we head through the next few days to see if it does indeed become a fairly intense storm. Right now, as I mentioned, we have clear skies, and at the airport, we're right at the freezing mark. It does feel like 26 with those winds out of the southwest at 7 miles per hour. Clear skies as we head through the overnight hours, and well, tomorrow on Sunday, it'll live up to its name. Nothing but sunshine on Sunday and clear skies for your Sunday night. And on Monday, we're going to see nothing but sunshine as well. So, yeah, very nice for the next few days and a gradual warm up. We're heading for the 50s and eventually into the 60s. This wacky December weather, right? It just won't go away. And hey, it's hard to complain, at least with the 60s. We don't need the violent weather, however. Tomorrow, a big game at Paul Brown Stadium. The Bengals taking on the San Francisco 49ers. And tomorrow's kickoff is at 4:25, not at 1 o'clock. Sunshine in the jungle. Temperatures will be kind of hovering in the mid and upper 40s. Tonight, we're going to drop down to 30 under clear skies. So much colder than last night and early this morning when we were in the mid 60s. Today's official high will go down to 66. But again, that was overnight. Tomorrow, 48 degrees. Sunshine, cooler, yet that's fairly seasonable for this time of the year. But check it out, Monday, 55 degrees, Tuesday, 57, back into the 60s. It's mid-December, 63 Wednesday, maybe a shower early in the morning, but a better chance of showers and maybe some storms by Thursday, guys.
All right, thanks a lot, Steve. A big local rivalry taken to the court tonight.
WLWT News 5's Brandon Saho is in next with tonight's crosstown shootout.
Well, there's no question who the best team in the city is after tonight. Xavier blowing out the Bearcats in the crosstown shootout, now winning 3 straight over UC. And as usual at home, X dominated the Cats for a 9th straight win in this series at Cintas Center. I'm going to guess Wes Miller knows how to say Xavier correctly after tonight. Pretty sure he does. His first shootout was a nightmare. UC led 11-10 in the early minutes, but then Xavier just turned it on and took this game over, especially on defense, shutting UC down after this. This game, all Musketeers all night long. Paul Scruggs hitting the fadeaway jumper, putting X up 15 in the first half. And Cintas was rocking. Adam Kunkel showing off the range, and X led by 15 at the half. And the star of the shootout was Jack Nungy. He was the X factor for Xavier tonight. He put up 31 points in his very first shootout, and Xavier wins it with a big statement at Cintas, dominating UC 83-63.
It's amazing. I really don't have no words, you know. It's just, yeah, amazing. You know, I came back for my teammates and the fans, and, you know, I want to go out with a bang.
Oh, man, it's awesome. You know, before the game, I was getting chills. Just, I could tell the atmosphere was just so different, and the crowd was amazing tonight. It was awesome out there.
We got our tail kicked in every way you can get it kicked. I told the team in there I didn't prepare us to play. So got to do better as a coach. We got to be better as a team, and unacceptable the way that we played in here tonight. But again, you can't take away how well Xavier played.
No doubt about it. Next, certainly showing the Bearcats who's boss tonight. Xavier looks like the tournament team. UC looks like a team with a lot of work to do, but it's a new team with a new coach. Next up for both teams, some midweek games that both should get victories in. Up in Columbus, the Buckeyes hosting Wisconsin for a top 25 Big Ten battle, and while Ohio State only led by 5 at the break, E.J. Liddell and company took this game over. Liddell getting the basket and the foul here. He finishes with 28 points, and they slammed the door late, and that's another ranked win for the Bucks. Ohio State takes it 73-55. Number 10 Kentucky in action tonight as well. The Wildcats playing on the road at Notre Dame, and this game went down to the final minute. UK's Kellen Grady hitting a wild 3 to give UK a 1-point lead, but with 13 seconds to go, the Irish hitting the go-ahead bucket to the Cats. Going to try to rush it down the floor. No timeout, trying to score quick, but this layup is no good, and UK falls 66-62. Joe Burrow good to go tomorrow for the Bengals. Zach Taylor telling reporters that there are no limitations for his quarterback. Joe Mixon listed as questionable after battling an illness this week, but he is also expected to play, so that is more good news for the Bengals offense. Kickoff tomorrow against the 49ers at 4:25. A lot of us in this business thought Xavier was the better team going into this matchup, but they certainly showed it tonight. They dominated UC from start to finish.
Yeah. Did I notice that UC is going to play FAMU on Tuesday? Yep. That's the first time. I don't remember them playing FAMU before. Yeah,
I can't remember. They played Alabama A&M before, right. But yeah, I think it might be one of the first times, or the first time in a while they've come up here.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, thanks a lot.
All right, Steve, final check of that forecast.
Yeah, you know what? It's not a bad forecast. Sunshine tomorrow, a bit on the cool side. We'll top out about 48 degrees. Well, it's cool compared to where we have been. That's actually seasonable for this time of the year. You can see the normal high is right around 44 degrees. But then, as I mentioned, this crazy December weather, it continues. We're heading back into the 60s. 55 on Monday. 57 on Tuesday. How about 63 on Wednesday? Maybe a light shower Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning. A better chance of showers, and dare I say, maybe even a couple of thunderstorms on Thursday. 66 then. We'll likely see some rain lingering about on Friday, and then falling temperatures on Saturday. But overall, guys, after what we went through the last 24 hours, looking good, right?
All right. Well, that's all the time we have. Saturday Night Live is next. It's all new one, right?
Billie Eilish.
All right. Have a good night and a better day tomorrow.